In today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of all of the classes in Diablo 4 as we're very close to the beta and only a few months away from official launch. Hopefully this video will help you decide a little early what class you think is right for you, but hey, if you play the beta, that's a great time to test them all out. Let's jump right in. Let's start off with the Rogue class, which is an adaptable, agile warrior that can specialize in ranged or close quarters combat. This class can best any foe with their imbued weapons, perform powerful combo attacks, and can augment their arsenal with deadly poisons and shadow magic. On the Diablo 4 webpage, Blizzard refers to the rogue as a she. But rest assured, character classes are not gender locked in Diablo 4 like they were back in the Diablo 2 days. For fans of previous Diablo games, in terms of playstyle, think of the Rogue in Diablo 1, the Assassin and Amazon classes in Diablo 2, and the Demon Hunter in Diablo 3, but do note that the D4 Rogue should offer a fresh take on this style of class. This is a fast-paced, versatile, dexterity-based class that offers the ability to quickly alternate between ranged weapons, such as bows and crossbows, and dual melee weapons, such as swords and daggers. The Rogue class will offer 3 different talent specializations, and these are combo points, inner sight, and preparation. These specializations unlock upon the completion of specific class specialization quests that become available at levels 15, 20, and 30. The combo point specialization allows you to build up points with basic rogue attacks, to then spend those points when using certain core skills to unleash more powerful versions of those skills. Inner sight allows you to mark a particular enemy with a purple eye, and hitting that enemy will build up your inner sight gauge, and once full, you'll be granted unlimited energy for 4 seconds. The preparation specialization we don't know much about at this time, and this is the one that unlocks at level 30, but many are speculating that it will have something to do with cooldown reduction. The Rogue class will also offer a unique weapon imbue system, which lets you imbue your weapons with certain afflictions such as frost, shadow, and poison. This imbue system allows you to change your playstyle on the fly, as you create the opportunity for additional deadly combos to control the battlefield with. There's of course a ton of other skills for this class, as you have the basic skills, core skills, agility skills, subterfuge skills, and of course the deadly ultimates. These skills range from stabbing enemies at rapid godly speeds, shooting piercing arrows, throwing caltrops on the ground, shadow stepping around the battlefield, vanishing out of sight, using smoke grenades, and much more. The ultimate skills that the Rogue offers are an insanely deadly AoE trap, powerful waves of volleys of arrows, and the ability to create a shadow clone that will mimic your actions. The Druid class is a savage shapeshifter which can fluidly transform between the forms of a towering bear or a vicious werewolf to fight alongside the creatures of the wild. The Druid also commands the power of earth, wind, and storm, unleashing nature's wrath to devastating effect. In terms of playstyle, you're probably best looking back at the Diablo 2 Druid class, as this one will likely be a similar style with a different approach. The D4 Druid shapeshifting is unique in that shapeshifting is not its own specific skill or action. There's no skills that exist purely to transform in and out of the various forms. Instead, when you use a particular skill associated with one of the forms, your druid will automatically shapeshift into that form, execute the chosen skill, and then revert back to human form in what seems to be around 3 seconds or so later, unless you use another shapeshifting associated skill before that time runs out. In a recent developer Q&A, we were told about the druid's unique class mechanic, which is the spirit animal system, but this apparently won't be available to use in the beta. This mechanic allows you to find spirit animals, which will then unlock your ability to choose specific spirit animal boons that will of course buff your druid in a variety of different ways. It is said that there are 4 total spirit animals, and after you've unlocked them all, you'll be able to choose 1 boon from each animal, and you get an extra point to double down on one of them. Apparently these boons can be swapped in and out at will. The Druid skill categories include basic skills, spirit skills, defensive skills, wrath skills, companion skills, and of course ultimates. These abilities will range from sundering the earth and impaling enemies, to calling down strikes of lightning, conjuring tornadoes, trampling enemies as a werebear, passively summoning wolves, ravens, and vines, and much, much more. The Druid's ultimate skills offer the ability to call in a massive storm, rage as a ferocious grizzly, and petrify enemies. The Sorcerer or Sorceress shapes the elements into whatever form is necessary to ensure victory, from hurling bolts of lightning, impaling foes upon jagged spikes of ice, and raining flaming meteors down from the sky. The Sorceress was a class offered in Diablo 2. As for something of a similar playstyle in Diablo 3, you're probably looking at the Wizard class, but they're definitely not exactly the same. This class offers a high-risk, high-reward type of playstyle, as it's quite squishy, but to make up for that, their power in harnessing potent elemental magic is basically unmatched. If you're looking for a class that deals a ton of AoE damage, has some really good crowd control spells, and is quite mobile, this may be the class for you. Be prepared to use fire magic, which can also oftentimes place the burning effect on enemies, cold magic, which can many times chill enemies, causing them to slow down. They can even be frozen completely, and also lightning magic, which with the right talents can leave behind balls of energy that can be collected to restore mana or deal damage to nearby foes. The Sorcerer's unique class mechanic is its ability to utilize an enchantment system, which changes how a skill works. This is said to unlock after you complete a priority quest. Basically, you can place skills into enchantment slots, which make it so that that skill can no longer be activated as its own skill, but it instead becomes a secondary passive bonus. For example, if you place Fireball into an enchantment slot, you don't cast Fireball with that skill anymore, but when you kill an enemy, that enemy will explode in a Fireball for 50% of its damage. Or let's say you decide to place your Ice Armor defensive skill into an enchantment slot. You no longer actively cast Ice Armor on yourself. Instead, upon getting hit, you now have a 5% chance to apply Ice Armor. So this system offers a unique way to play around with spells to turn some of them into secondary passive benefits. In the beta, we'll likely only have access to one enchantment slot. The Sorcerer's skills include minor destruction spells, major destruction spells, defensive spells, conjuration spells, mastery spells, and of course, ultimates. These range from frostbolts to fireballs to blizzards to teleportation skills, calling down meteor showers, creating hydras, and much, much more. The Sorcerer's ultimate abilities include a deep freeze spell, making you temporarily invulnerable and chilling and freezing enemies around you, an inferno spell which creates a burning zone that causes periodic fire damage, and the conduit spell, which is the ultimate lightning spell that is a more powerful and offensive version of teleport. Necromancers are cunning summoners that conjure vengeful hordes of the undead. Their essence flows into 3 powerful bastions of bone, blood, or shadow to bring low their enemies. Previous Diablo classes you could look to for ideas on playstyles include, of course, both the Necromancer in Diablo 2 and the Necromancer in Diablo 3, but the D4 Necromancer should bring some new innovative elements to this ever-popular class. Like with most Necromancer classes, you should expect to be summoning the undead alongside being a caster of the dark arts. Scythes, swords, daggers, wands, focuses, and shields. This is a caster-summoner close-quarters combat class. The Necromancer's unique class mechanic is the Book of the Dead, which lets the Necromancer further customize their undead summons, allowing them to specialize these summons in different styles of combat. These customizable undead summons include skeletal warriors, skeletal mages, and golems. A quick example of some of the early customization would be making your skeletal warriors defenders, which gives them more HP at the cost of damage dealt. The Necromancer in Diablo 4 will use Essence as its main resource for many of its skills, and Essence does slowly regenerate on its own, but also using basic skills will grant you more Essence. Corpses are also a resource for certain skills, and for fans of previous Diablo games, you'll be happy to know that Corpse Explosion is making a return. The Necromancer skill categories include Bone skills, Darkness skills, Blood skills, Army skills, Book of the Dead skills, and of course, ultimates. These skills range from Bone Spear skills to Bone Spirit skills, Blight, Blood Surge, Raise Skeletons, Decompose, Blood Mist, and much, much more. We do not know what the ultimate skills are at this point, but we'll find out soon enough. The Barbarian class has unparalleled strength and expertly wields an entire arsenal in battle, with a weapon for every occasion. They bellow intimidating war cries and unleash ground-shaking slams to send approaching hordes reeling. The Barbarian is a class that was present in Diablo 2 and 3, and of course it's now made its way into Diablo 4. This is your melee close quarters combat class, and its unique class mechanic is the Arsenal system, which lets you equip 4 weapons simultaneously to fully utilize the Barbarian's skill toolkit, which is based on different weapon requirements. The 4 weapon slots are main hand, offhand, two-handed bludgeoning weapon, and two-handed slashing weapon. Just like with the Druid, with its shape-shifting being activated by certain skills, with the Barbarian, skills will automatically utilize the best or required weapon. Expertise is also part of the Arsenal system, which grants bonus effects based on your experience with each weapon. For example, one-handed axes grant increased critical strike chance against injured creatures, and two-handed swords can cause a bleed effect. This class is obviously a strength class, and they deal mostly physical damage. The Barbarian skills come in the categories of basic skills, core skills, defensive skills, brawling skills, weapon mastery skills, and of course, ultimates. The skills range from double swings to bashes, frenzy, lunging strike, hammer of the ancients, whirlwind, ground stomp, challenging shout, leap, kick, war cry, and much more. The Barbarian's ultimates include Call of the Ancients, which calls upon 3 ancients to aid you in battle, Iron Maelstrom, which activates on its first time to attach a chain to your two-handed bludgeoning weapon, which slams the ground, dealing damage and stunning enemies, and you can then reactivate it to then attach that chain to your two-handed slashing weapon, dealing damage and causing an AoE bleed, and reactivate it a final time to attach a chain to your dual-wield weapons, swinging the chain around, dealing damage. And lastly, Wrath of the Berserker is an ultimate skill that transforms the Barbarian into a searing iron giant, drastically increasing damage and movement speed. And that'll be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know below in the comments what class you're thinking about giving a try. Much more Diablo 4 content to come. I'll catch you on the next one.